So a lot of people have dating preferences based on race. In fact, it's likely that the majority of people do. You know how some people are like, I'm not really into black guys. I only date Asian girls. I'm just not attracted to muggles. Is that racist though? Kind of sounds racist. But then it's like, who are we to tell someone what preferences they're allowed to have? Are we gonna call someone a bigot if they prefer to date someone of a certain height or a certain religion? Well, unfortunately, like most things, and you can say it with me, it's fucking complicated. Hi, I'm T1J.
Follow me.
So there are a lot of videos about this already, but I still get asked for my thoughts all the time, so I guess we'll talk about it. Then I could just link you this video whenever I get this question and get that sweet quarter penny of ad revenue. Unless, of course, this video gets demonetized. Or if you have ad block. Or if you're part of a demographic that advertisers don't care about. Shoutouts to old people. So at the most fundamental level, of course, people can have physical preferences. It's very likely that there are people that you think are more physically attractive than other people. And it's not unreasonable to suggest that skin tone, being something that you can see with your eyes, may play a part in what you find or don't find physically attractive. Just like a lot of people have a particular preference for certain hair colors or features like dimples or glasses. I also think that when most people express a racial dating preference, they're speaking generally. Like, I don't think that most people are saying, I would never, under any circumstances whatsoever, find myself in a courtship with a brown woman. I'd rather fall upon mine own sword. Like, I think most people are open to the possibility of exceptions, at least to some extent. The problem is when the preferences extend beyond physicality. Since there's no biological correlation between the color of your skin and what kind of person you are, these kind of characterizations are inevitably based on stereotypes and prejudices. And this is when people say stuff like, I don't fuck with black women, they're mean and high maintenance. Let's not sugarcoat it, that's just actual racism by definition. But even positive stereotypes are problematic. You may say something like, I love Latinx people, they're exotic and passionate. But in this case, what you're doing is fetishizing a culture. Even though it's positive, it's still racial stereotyping and objectification. You're treating people like an idea or an archetype and not individual, unique human beings. So all that said, even if your racial preferences are purely based on looks, you're still not quite off of the hook. Of course, everyone has individual preferences, but if you start to look at the trends, those preferences form a clear pattern. The dating website OkCupid gathers data about its users' preferences, including racial preferences. This chart, which reflects data from tens of millions of accounts, shows how people rated men and women of different races. Basically, green is good, red is bad, and white is neutral. If racial dating tendencies were merely a matter of personal preference, then you'd expect the results to be as random as asking people what their favorite color is. However, there are very clear trends, the most obvious of which is the higher scores for Asian women and white men, and the strong distaste people have on average for black people and Asian men. And other similar studies have found pretty much the exact same results. So do you think that that's a coincidence? It's probably not. So clearly it's more than just personal preference. Why are people more likely to be attracted to people of certain races? Well, media and culture probably has a lot to do with it. Quick, name an Asian man who's considered a sex symbol in Western culture. I can't even think of one. I mean, Jackie Chan has been one of my man crushes for 20 years, but I don't think that counts. We've been conditioned in many ways to find certain types of people more beautiful than others. If you Google image search beautiful women, you get almost exclusively white and Asian women. If you Google beautiful men, you get almost exclusively white men. Even if you Google cute kids, you get a bunch of fucking white kids. This is what we think is beautiful. And we know that even children have this bias.
What? Show me the ugly child.
And you might be thinking, well, you know, fucking, okay, maybe our dating preferences are influenced by cultural bias. Like, why is that a big deal? Just let me fuck who I want to fuck. And I want to read this quote from the OkCupid blog in response to this. It's kind of a long quote, but I like it. There are many situations that might not be explicitly romantic, but are nonetheless a lot like a first date, a job interview, trying to rent an apartment, when you meet your freshman roommates. Anytime you're trying to make an impression on a stranger. And science has long known that bonuses accrue to beautiful people. They have better outcomes at work and at school, more success with juries, even live longer lives, and so on. In short, beautiful people receive a lot of the same built-in benefits in our society that white people do. I think that's no coincidence. Beauty is a cultural idea as much as a physical one, and the standard is of course set by the dominant culture. I believe that's what you see in the data here. One interesting thing about OkCupid's interface is that we allow people to select more than one race, so you can actually look at people who've combined white with another racial description. adding whiteness always helps your rating. In fact, it goes a long way towards undoing any bias against you. So yes, this is all just dating data, but it shows who and what we define as beautiful, and that's something that affects everyone. So having a racial dating preference isn't necessarily racist. I mean, it could be, but we can't totally control what ruffles our dumplings or wiggles our flaps. But while we can't really control what tickles our jimmies, the fact that racial dating preferences trend in such a consistent way says a lot about our culture's view towards certain races. And perhaps if we become more introspective about the preferences we have and more open-minded about exposing ourselves to new experiences, maybe we can change those trends. That's just me though. What do you think? Thank you for watching my video. There's just 2 weeks left to grab one of my new t-shirts. There's a link below if you want to check those out. It'd be really cool if you did that. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more discussions about social issues, current events, and pop culture. And ring that notification bell to make sure you never miss a video. And if you like my videos and want to support them even more, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. And remember, stay Heiko.